Hello, in this demonstration I'm going to show you how to incorporate a Lampwork bead into your Kumihimo. You start by threading all 8 of your cords through the largest focal bead, tie a knot on one end of it, and then put it into your braiding disc and load up the beads, and then you'll braid away from the bead. Put on another accent bead if you want, and then continue on. I've already done one side, so I'll show you how to do the second side. I've already removed the knot that I put in, so we'll just get started. And I've also already loaded my my strands with the beads that I want to put in between this small section between the large bead and the small spacer. So most of the time it takes 4 or 8 turns before you can start dropping your first bead down. I find that that's it's just, in most cases it is. You might want to try doing the 8 to begin with, especially if you're using a pattern, to be sure that 8 is enough. Now that was my 8. I should be able to now have enough room underneath the side warps to be able to drop a bead down. If not, you want to continue until you have enough room there to be able to drop your bead. Now getting it started is the hardest part of anything, is to be able to get those first 4 beads in without them popping on you. Sometimes you have to hold it with your fingernail, or just be extra careful on those first 4 to be sure that it's being tucked under, and then you shouldn't have any trouble. If you see one pop, just back it out, and then you may have to do a few more warps without the beads, to be sure that you have enough room to slide your bead under, to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead, and hopefully this won't take me too long, of going ahead and putting in the ones that I want. I did, in case you're wondering where I got this plain disc, just for the video purposes, I turned the disc over and just put in the dots to help you with the visual here. But I didn't want to have all the advertisement that these discs normally have on them to show up in the video. And I also apologize for my lack of having my fingernails done here. I just chipped this one the other day and need to go and get them done. Anyway, so I'm almost at the end here. I usually do 3 beads on each cord. I find that it tends to be just the right number between the focal and the spacers. I've used 4, 5. I don't normally go too much farther than that, unless the whole necklace is made of Lampwork beads that I want evenly spaced instead of being more of a focal. So this is how far I want to be able to go. So now what we'll do is we'll do another 8 with no beads, just to give it you know, a stopping point. And again, I find that 8 works about the best. If you're putting on instead of a spacer, if you're putting on another larger bead, I usually do the 8 warps, and then I take the what would be the next 2 strands that would be crossed over, and I pull those up and I tie a knot. Then I take all of the strands off, thread them through the bead, and then put it back on, and do the same thing as I did with this bead, where you thread it through and do your 8 warps without beads. So because we're going to actually put on a spacer, I want to do enough warps without beads to be able to take up the full width of the spacer bead. So you just have to kind of eyeball that, and that looks like it's about right. Okay, so I'm going to be adding in another one of these spacer beads. So now what I normally do, just so that it makes it a little easier on the whole thing, is I just kind of transfer the cords to be on the dots before I start the process of going through the bead. And that you'll see why that does tend to help. So I'll take off my little stopper beads there, and then what I'm going to do is just lift up the top left cord, and I'm going to put it through the spacer and then plop it back down into the same hole that I took it out of, the same slot. And then I'll take the next cord, send it through, put it back. Now this is where I don't continue to go that same route, where I'm going to take the top cord and I'm going to send it through, but instead of putting it back over here, which then you have this problem with all the cords kind of being in the way, is I just go to the left of what I'm working on. I mean, I'm sorry, the right of what I'm working on. And I take the next one, put it through the next right slot. Then I work on the left side. So again, I'm going to take off my stoppers. And I also use stoppers instead of those round donut discs. I find that they work better. So you're going to take the cord, and again, then now we're going to go to the left of the dot because we're on the left side, and then the bottom of the left dot. I'm going to snake it through again and put it on the left side. So now we have 6 cords on the top, 2 cords on the bottom. So I'm going to take my last 2 spacers off. I'm going to take the right side of the bottom, thread it through, and again put it on the right side so you remember this pattern. And then this last one, we'll put that one through. Sometimes you do have to kind of hold the cords down as you're snaking them through. You want to keep them, you know, taut as you're threading them through, so you're not going to mess up the warp pattern that's on the top. So now that that is threaded through there, you can then slide your bead down in the hole over what you've done. Take that last cord that you've put through and put that one back in its slot. Then you're going to take the far right, come down, put it back. You're going to take the next far right, put it to the right side of the right dot, Take the next one, put it back. So basically now is when you're going to put the cords back to where they were. And as you see, the warp pattern here of being able to have your crossovers is in the proper spot. And then you again just load up with your beads and start that same cycle again of dropping your beads down. Now if when you come through, if it doesn't look like there's enough space in here for you to put in your bead, then do a couple of more warps without beads. And that's really all there is to it. And you'll have your focal with some spacers on either side, and you can finish up your necklace as normal. So that's it. Hopefully you'll understand what the video is. Since this is the first one I'm doing, if you have any suggestions for me, let me know, and I'll videotape it again. Thank you.